what's up, Grinder School? This is Colossos, and it is the end of December. Well, we are the 30th of December, and as promised, I told you I was going to show you the results of my MicroStakes games in December. So I've played around 14 15,000 hands at 10 and 6 max, and as you can see, the graph here. I had a pretty decent month, not great. I wasn't running too well in my opinion. But anyway, the win rate is almost 4 big bets per 100 hands, which is really good. If you can attain this win rate at 10 and 0 over a long period, you're crushing the games. So, and you should be looking to move up. Now, more interestingly, why I'm showing you this is obviously to give you a quick look into my stats and show you guys that many of you who are breaking even or slightly losing probably have similar stats to me and can't really see any difference. So I played around, let's take a look here, 14.5 k hands. Win rate is almost 4 BBs. This is not important. Dollar per hour, I wouldn't consider this because I didn't play that many tables at once. I made a few videos for it, so you can't really conclude anything from the dollars per hour. There's so many times that I only play 1 or 2 tables when making a video and stuff like this. More importantly, VPIP, pre-flop raise, 3-bet percentage, and fall to flop c-bet here in the end, and c-bet the flop percentage. So my VPIP is 26 and pre-flop is 2016, which is really normal at these MicroStakes. Anything, it's not really tight, it's not really loose. I mean, it's in between. I used to play a lot tighter VPIP and pre-flop race. It was, I believe, around 18, 15. When I was first starting out at MicroStakes, I had to loosen up because the games did change. I'm actually going to show you my entire live results at 10.06 minutes. Maybe I will do it for you guys so you can compare your stats with mine, and probably you're going to see that you aren't doing that. If you're watching the videos at Grinder School, at least, you can't be doing that much different than me stats-wise. What is pretty high is my $1 at Showdown. It's 60%, which is kind of high. I don't go to Showdown all that often. You can see my Showdown percentages is 24, which is a little bit low. But when I do go to Showdown, I usually get the money, which kind of fits my tight nature, and we will take a closer look into that in a minute. 3-bet percentage, as you guys know, I'm not a really big fan of 3-betting, except for aces and kings. I could probably up my 3-bet percentages by a bit and maybe increase my win rates, but I'm not that sure. People at the MicroStakes play really straightforward, and I like to take advantage of their weak post-flop play rather than their mistakes pre-flop, unless they are complete fish. I will 3-bet queens, jacks, ace king, maybe even ace queen, aces and kings, versus guys who are playing 15 deuce, stuff like this. But against like the regular type of guys, the 18, 15 type of guys, I'm not 3-betting jacks because basically you're never gonna get called by anything worse. What you can do against these guys is 3-betting like ace-4 suited and like 5-7 suited and stuff like this. But that's another story. Attempt to steal 32%, and I fold my big blind to steal quite a bit. 80% of the time. I really dislike playing from the blinds. I could be 3-betting a little bit more from the blinds, but I think in today's state of the games, I see a lot of people 4-betting as a bluff from the button also, and which basically doesn't make it a really good idea to be 3-betting a huge amount of the blinds. And as you know, I don't like 3-betting out of position. Everybody has his own style. I know some other instructors really like 3-betting from the blinds a huge percentage of the time. Is there anything to say? I'm gonna allow showdown. I don't go to showdown all that often. My aggression frequency is really low. Basically, it's really low because I'm not really aggressive at a certain street. I will show you immediately. Full flop. Okay. In the details, we can take a quick look if they ever load up. Yeah. What I wanted to show here. My first action on the flop after a pre-flop raise is most of the time I am, by the way, I'm raising pre-flop. You can see it here, 16% as usual, which makes around 2,300 hands out of the 14,000 hands. You can see it right here. And after the flop, after I raise pre-flop, a huge amount of the time, 28%, I am c-betting. It means that 28% doesn't seem a lot, but keep in mind that a lot of the times when I raise pre-flop, 52% is, well, about half the time I didn't get any action and just took the blinds and some dead money in there, which is a great result when you take down the blinds. After you raise pre-flop 52% of the time, it's a great result because even if you do get called, I'm c-betting. If I don't take it down, I'm c-betting like, what is it, like 50, like, out of the other 50%, I'm c-betting 30%, which makes about, come on, let's do calculations. So 60% of the time I'm c-betting, basically, and does it say here anything about how many times I take it down on the flop? No, it does not. I probably can look it up, but basically, either they fold half the time, I c-bet 60% of the time if they don't fold, and probably I take it down on the flop quite a bit after a pre-flop raise. So, raise pre-flop is always a good idea at the MicroStakes. Not always. Keep in mind, I saw a post at Grinder School where somebody posted that he had pocket fours in the big blind, like 3 people limped in, and he raised it up from the big blind. That's not a good idea to do that. Just pocket fours plays just horrible out of position versus people who are just not going to fold to your pre-flop raise. It doesn't play horrible, but you don't really want to play a big pot when you with pocket fours out of position. You don't want to build a big pot pre-flop at least. So basically, I'm betting a lot after I raise pre-flop. A lot of my money probably comes from this. What can we I'm not gonna go over every stat. You can pause the video, check it out yourself. There's a lot of explanations on Poker Tracker or Hold'em Manager about what every stat means. Obviously, knowing the meaning of a stat doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to use the stat, but if you have any questions about it, you can just ask it in the Grinder School forums. I am going to start up a few tables and after going over the stats a little bit more. So 14,000 hands, my actions pre-flop are raised, obviously. Now, interestingly, when we look at the aggression factor, so on the flop, most of my actions are either to bet or to check. Keep in mind that these stats don't care about whether I call pre-flop or raise pre-flop. Usually when I call pre-flop, it's with some small pocket pair, sometimes a suited connector. Although I once in a while I switch, like 1 out of 10 times I will call with aces and I'll 3-bet my aces, just to kind of switch it up a little bit. But it's not really necessary. I just do it for against players that I know, that know me, just for metagame purposes. But anyway, either I'm betting most of the time on the flop. That's basically when I have been raising. Usually I never donk bet. No, I never donk bet. So basically when I'm betting is all the times that I raise pre-flop and did get a call. When I'm checking here, when I'm checking behind, basically it's either when a flop comes like 5, 6, 7 and I raised with like ace jack. I mean, I'm never gonna get folds on a 5, 6, 7 flop, especially not against the guy who's playing 50 deuce. Keep also in mind that he doesn't necessarily need to hit the 5, 6, 7 flop. Usually they float you with some crap like queen jack, but basically you can't fire a second barrel against these guys on a 5, 6, 7 flop, and the turn probably, there's like no good turns to come except an ace for you. But more interestingly is my river here. My aggression here on the river, you can see that I'm most of the time checking a lot more than I'm usually betting. Why is this? Mainly, most of the money at your MicroStakes is going to come from guys who just don't fold their wiggish hands, or their draws. They have a draw, they have a straight draw, they check call on the flop, either out of position, in position. When they miss their draw, I kind of know it when they miss their draw. Usually I go to showdown with my medium pair type of hands, or my top pair, weak kicker. I will bet 2 streets and check the river. Other times I have a really strong hand. I bet the flop, bet the turn. On the river, I know they missed their draw. I've been betting huge, and what I'm basically hoping for is that they just go crazy. A lot of people, when they miss their draw, they get checked on the river, they will try to take a stab on it. They don't want to go to showdown with 9 high after they miss their draw. They're gonna take a stab, and I just snap them off and take their money. So on the river, I am a lot less aggressive than I could be. I might change it after I see that people don't bluff anymore on rivers. But I have to say that in this, a lot of this money is won about people making some ridiculous plays. A lot of the money is lost on people making some ridiculous plays, but that's how it goes. If you look at my graph, in my last session was like I lost in about, I think, like 100 hands or 200 hands. I lost like 5 buy-ins, and it can make you on tilt, but keep in mind that you will get, right after that I got a nice upswing again and won 4 buy-ins back. After that I lost 4 buy-ins again, and the last session was kind of crazy. I did get sucked out on really a lot these last games. But that's how it goes. I can't complain. When you're running at almost 4 big bets per 100 hands, you can't really complain. I'm going to show you my positional stats. I'm not going to talk about them. They're pretty used. I do lose way too much from the big blind, but positionally, 15,000 hands isn't really all that often, all that much. To make any conclusions, but you can definitely compare your VPIP and pre-flop race with mine. 30, 26, 26, 23, 18, 17. I'm just saying, because I promised you guys, I've never done this before. What I'm going to do is show you my entire results of 10 and all. This computer has not all my hands, not by a long shot, but it does have some old hands. So what I'm going to do is remove this filter and take all my hands for 10 and all 6 matches my lifetime. So usually I don't do this, but I mean, I love you guys. It's kind of cool. So I'll show you. It might take a while to get here. It's loading. I actually have no. I hope I do. Okay, here they are. 100,000 hands. As I said, it's not all my hands. Keep in mind, these are some really old hands. I'm guessing from 2009. I don't know, 2008 maybe. Big bets per 100 is 3.2, which kind of disappoints me. Well, it's still a really good win rate if you can attain this for 100,000 hands, which is this is a decent sample size. I mean, you can definitely make some conclusions from this. 3 big bets. My VPIP preflop, as you can see, it's a little bit tighter than what I showed you in the last month. I've been loosening up. I bet if I put filter here for like the beginning of my game, like I don't know when the hand starts, it will go to like 18, 15, even like 16, 14. Back in the day when the games were a lot easier and you could just play really tight and make the money. But what I want to show you here is that my 3-bet percentage, my aggression frequency, also went a little bit higher, my aggression frequency this month, last month, compared to what I have here. But basically, my game hasn't changed all that much. That's what I want to show you guys. If you compare this entire well, it's not lifetime, it's 100,000 hands. It's not that much. If you can see, I've played this month, but I don't play 10NL anymore. So I mean, these are kind of older stats. What I wanted to say, 100,000 hands lifetime is not a lot. I mean, this month I played 15,000 hands, and I didn't play a lot this month. At least not the MicroStakes. It's a great month, December, to play in. I'm not gonna waste it at 10NL. I'm gonna show you a quick detail. I'm just gonna show you the details. Just has to load up, so you can compare the stats again. You can delve into it. I believe that a lot of people will say, how come my stats are pretty similar to yours? Still, I'm not having the same win rate as you. Basically, it's because you are either raising the wrong hands, or you have some leaks in your post-flop game. I'm just gonna check something. I haven't done this. I wasn't planning to do this, actually. Just gonna check whether my aggression frequency on the river. Yeah, it also drops. It's compared to the flop and the turn, which kind of is normal. The flop is going to be highest because you're going to be c-betting a lot there. On the river, usually when you're raising rivers, you have it. You have the nuts. When you're raising flops, you can be doing this with draws, but it's still nice to see that my game hasn't changed all that much in all this time. No. Let's take a look at the graph. Everybody likes to see graphs. It's gonna have to load a little bit. In the meantime, I don't know why I loaded. I played this hand today, and I wanted to show you guys it. Me having 6-7 suited. What happens? Oh yeah. Now I remember why I brought it up. Okay, I had no hands on Schnitzer, 666 here. He calls. At the moment, he was an unknown to me. I ISO raised. I had 27 hands on the guy who limped in 49.90. I ISO raised him with 6-7 suit. I didn't make it 4x. Sometimes I make it 4. I will make it 4x with a hand like Ace King. I will make it 4x. With 6-7 suited, I make it 3x. Basically, I want to play post flop with these guys when I have 6-7 suited, which isn't the greatest hand, especially against a guy who is not going to fold pre-flop. But in this time, I flop the nuts, unfortunately, the limper guy. And unknown, I c-bet, obviously, and don't make a huge c-bet. I do expect to get raised quite a bit on this type of flop, so that was kind of what I was hoping for, to get a raise out of here. But I do get raised by a lot of people who think they're raising for value, like any pocket pair above 6 is going to raise here for value. Any set doesn't really want to see another card, is going to raise here. Any 2 pair is going to raise here. Basically, I'm gonna get raised here a lot, either as a bluff or for value. Anyway, I'm jumping up and down my seat here. He doesn't raise, he merely calls, which tells me, okay, he calls. Either he's floating me with some ace jack, queen jack, like I told you. He's an unknown. I don't know. He can. What I kind of confiscate from his range is like 2 pair sets and over pairs. Basically, because the flop is way too wet to even a calling station knows that this flop is too wet to be just check calling with 2 pair over pairs for a set. So basically, I know here that either he was folding me and is going to try to take it away from me, or he's on a draw, which is another possibility. Flush draw, straight draws. There aren't too many straight draws though, although maybe some. No, ace deuce would probably have raised. There's a lot of flush draws in his range though. I check to him, hoping that he's going to bet with something like queen jack, ace jack. He's an unknown. I didn't know at the time what I'm going to tell you later. He bets. I'm really happy with this. I make a raise enough to put him all in on the river if he does have a hand. He calls and one of the worst cards comes off. The ace, basically, it's the worst card because it kills my action. And if I do get action here, essentially here, I put them all in. I don't know. Maybe you guys can comment. I mean, what do I still beat? I mean, the flush got there, and basically a huge part of his range was a flush. If I do get called here, he's folding queen jack. I mean, well, he's already folding queen jack on the turn. 2 pair would have raised the flop. This is like a spot where you can actually, where you can actually find a check fold. Even with as good as a hand as me. And maybe not against an unknown. He was not fully stacked. He's probably a donkey. He snaps me off with the nuts. If I would have known that the guy is 50-0, he later when I stayed at this table and he was playing 50-0, I would probably check fold the river to him if he shoves. Against an unknown, it's a little bit better, but still, what I want to show here is that on the river, I'm not that aggressive on the river against these typical calling stations. I don't know anymore why I showed the hand. Never mind. In the meantime, my graph loaded up. This is just, you can see there's some, it steadily goes up, but there's definitely some break-even stretches, some huge ones. You can break even for 20,000 hands, and that's it. But you can have some really nice upswings also in 20,000 hands. So that's about it. I'm going to load up a few tables and basically play the same style as the style that has been showing. And I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, we are back. I decided to play 16 now at stars. There are not that many tables of 16 now running at stars. Well, that's pretty much the only site I know that runs 16 now. But I thought maybe there's a lot of fish at these tables, 16 now, because I think the regulars will play 10 now or 25 now. We do have a, what is it, Supernova here on table number 3. I have no reads on anyone yet. I'm just gonna make a raise here on the button on table number 3. See how they react, get a feel for the table. Ace 3 suited. I wanna raise it up. I will sit at another table. 7-8, not the driest flop. I do have equity in the pots. If I get called, I don't have. I mean, I might have the best hand now. If I don't, I have equity, another 7, maybe a 3. Again, I don't expect too many folds here. The guy seems kind of calling station. He's on table number 3, 28. We'll see what he does. He's not gonna raise me as a bluff ever. That guy. Usually 28 guys don't do this. Unless they mean it. I mean, they do raise you, but and it's nice to take it down there. So we've got this guy is probably a weaker guy. I'm gonna tag him green. Luckfest, Supernova, 12-10. I mean, he's just grinding out. I mean, how can you get to Supernova at 16 now? I have no idea, but I mean, basically you have to play day and night and 20 table every single time. I mean, I'm guessing. Some people just have way too much time. Okay, I have on table number 1. Let's take a look here. Falls to 3 bets all the time. Raises from the cutoff. Pre-flop raise 9%. It's close because the guy is so tight. They doubt that he's ever going to fold. And I have no idea how much I have to raise here to. 144. I was making some quick calculations here in my head 3 times. 144 is about it. Does make the fold. I'm just getting a feel for the table. I wouldn't do that always with ace 8 offsuit. Here somebody limped in. Obviously a weaker guy. I'm gonna ice raise him. I'm gonna tag him green also. It's always a really cool to know who are the fish. Limp re-raise. I'm just folding even with queen 9. You can hope to hit 2 pair, but the limp re-raise by a guy who has never raised before, that's like aces or kings, for sure. So I'm just gonna fold hand and be done with it. You can call hoping to hit trips or 2 pair and stack him, but you often of the time you're gonna hit top pair with like queen, and then you're gonna have to call c-bet, and you know the story. In the end, he's you know that he has aces and kings, and you're just getting owned. I'm going to look at the all-in here. Oh, I forgot to say, a lot of the money also came on focusing, of last month, came on focusing on the bad guys. Unfortunately, that guy left who stacked off with 10-10. Luckfest probably playing a bunch of tables, falls to 3 bets unavailable, but I'm gonna 3 bet him. He probably doesn't know me. And if he is a supernova, he's playing a ton of tables. Let's see if I can. Oh, sorry. Luck fast 396. Maybe some professional. Oh, there we have him. He didn't tight. Yeah, he's playing like 20 tables of 16 and now. 7-8. We're going to raise here. No reads on table number 1 on that guy. 2013. I'm going to 3-bet him. No, I'm just gonna call him, and hopefully the guy on my left does something crazy because he's 70-56. 6-7 standard c-bet here on standard c-bet on table number 4. We do have the equity of the gut shots, and the guy on table number 1 limp folds. Here I'm c-betting. Doesn't have to. I'm gonna c-bet small. I want a lot of people to call. Really, there doesn't. Only an ace is going to call actually, and they both fold. Oh, I was going to raise the 5-5 on table number 4. Here I'm downing on table number 3. What to do? I think Luckfest is going to play pretty straightforward when he's 20 tabling, so I'm just gonna call him. Let's see, continuation bets, 75% in continuation bets, quite a bit. He checks. I'm gonna bet 0.80. That should do it. He floats me. Kind of weird that he floats me. I think I'm gonna barrel him here. 170. And he insta check calls. Calls me again. The jack isn't the greatest of cards. Because I put him on a lot on like 10 jack, stuff like this. Checks to me. Basically, what can he have that is check calling here? He doesn't have an overpair. He might have 10 jack. The guy who's this tight and check calls twice usually doesn't have a really strong hand. I'm gonna put him. I'm making a really serious bet here. Basically, people who play this tight don't really like to check call 3 streets. I mean, it's hard. Well, it's not hard to explain. People who check call twice and play really tight don't have a strong hand. They're afraid to get sucked out on. So they will raise you. Here we do get 3-bet by. Well, it's a huge 3-bet. I don't know. It's not that huge. 160. Actually, my 3-bets were kind of small. I think. Here's a normal 3-bet 10 BBs. Just gonna fold with the kings. It's a normal raise. We have a calling station in the small blind, which is obviously nice. Jack 9 suited. I'm gonna. There's really no reason to play Jack. Well, is king not the best flop on table number 2 because I don't beat a lot. You always have to think about it. If he folds here, I'm pretty happy about it. I don't beat king queen. He raises, and that's kind of what I was afraid of. And he didn't even think about it. And there's really no good card for me to call. So this might seem ridiculous. The fact that he also did a min raise. And there's really no good. I'm gonna fold. It looks ridiculous, but there's. and I've did this month. I've done this before when I feel like, you guys probably also know that you probably guys, or at least you should also feel uncomfortable when you get raised, even with top pair, top kicker on this flop. And since I have no equity, I mean, I have either I'm already beat or I'm going to be beaten by the river. That's basically it. So I think that justifies a fold versus a raise here. Unfortunately, the guy just left. I didn't have many hands on him. Oh, it's probably G. He's kind of, again, loose passive, 27-9. When these people raise you, they usually have something here. This loose passive guy, 27 is, I call them loose passive. I just call them passive. I'm gonna defend with 6-7. It's 1 BP, 1 big blind, I mean. And with the ace-4 suited, I'm not even gonna try to steal from a 39 guy. All this game is adapt to your opponents and make money. And that's all there is to. I will 3-bet the Luckfest guy. I will make moves against him like triple barreling as a bluff, but I will not do that against this type of guy, the smoky guy here on table number 1. 7-5 suited. There's a guy. This guy is likely to 3-bet. I'm just gonna fold the 5-7 offsuit here. I think Nefarious 26 is probably a notorious 3-better, looking at the stats. 20-0 here. I'm gonna call. Hope to get Linny into the pot. We don't. Flop comes ace high. He bets 16. Basically, I'm check calling to the river. Oh, god damn it, obviously I was going to raise the... And now we're all in. 75. I probably had the best hand still on the turn. He's never folding an ace though, so I don't think he's gonna call a shove. I'm just gonna make a raise, and he probably is going to tell him that he has to call it off because he was betting so weakly. No. Jack 9, there's really some... I think there are some really bad players. I see it a lot of dunk posting by here on table number 1. Somebody dunk posted here. I'm gonna try to... With Jack 9 also to lose open. But there's dead money in the pot, and that's the whole point. Let's take a look at this guy. Pre-flop folds to 3-bets 9 out of 9 times. He always folds to 3-bets, this guy. But I can't call there because post-flop he's only gonna pay me off. Oh wow, he didn't fold to 3-bet now. That's interesting. Probably jacks, queens, maybe. Standard C-bet table number 1. Oh, we get called and we're done with the hand against the guy. I have no hands on the deep down posted. To 24 here. God, yeah. I don't think there's so many 8s in his range. I rather think that he has got something like, you know, I think he has something like jacks. does shove. How many 8s are in his range? Pocket 8s, can have a set. I don't think a set would have raised me on the flop, so he's representing an 8 of some kind. He can have pocket jacks, pocket kings, although I would pocket kings wait until the turn to raise. Okay, I am gonna call him. Wow. We suck out. 6, 7 suits. He folds to 3 bets 10 out of 10 times and then calls. Well, he deserves a suck out. We'll go over that hand in a minute. I'm just gonna quickly fold a few hands, then queen. Those are some weak bets here. I'm getting immediate odds to draw here, so doing this. That should slow him down if he bets. Yeah, he jacks, so I'm just gonna go to showdown. Here I'm gonna call. And hopefully he checks on the turn, and I take it down with another bet. Make the same. I could have raised though on table number 4 on the flop. He checks to me. Doesn't have anything really good, so I'm betting like 69. I'm also betting the river by, even if I miss. Okay, I sucked out. That's doesn't happen that often. Ace king. I don't wanna 3-bet here. We're deep. I'm gonna call him. I don't wanna 3-bet because I don't wanna build a huge pot. I don't wanna get it in. Just gonna call. Out of position. I told you many times I don't like the 3-bet out of position. 5, 6, 7 flop. It's basically a good flop for me. If he checks, I'm betting. Yeah, that's I'm barreling now for 2 streets, 0, 70, and then bet on the river again. That's not a good card. That's not a good card. Calls me on the... Yeah, it's not a good card. I'm just gonna check. And he had a set. He turned the stats. Interesting. It was a really bad flop for Nefarious to see that, so I'm giving him a green tag. He seems decent. Check behind. Okay, so on table number 4, this is like I don't get a lot of folds here on this kind of flop. He's gonna float me with ace high. He might fold out. It's a weaker type. Oh, damn it! I timed out. I don't care if he bets. I'm done with the hand. It's the bad flop. Table number 4 is horrible. The loose guys are on my left, which makes it impossible to raise with 10-7 suited, although I want to. And the tight guys are on my right. But what I want to do is go back to the aces hands. I didn't really put 6-7 suited in his range since I'm gonna call Luke fast again. He's easy to play against. Flop top pair, top kicker. I'm all in against the Krawich guy. Lukefest is not c-betting because it's against 2 people and he missed. Obviously I am betting. Top pair. We get called, which is nice. If Lukefest raises here, I'm folding, by the way, because that means that he nodded it when I bet, and this guy calls the Krawich guy. He's never gonna raise here as a bluff. The 5 is a blank. 29, he's pretty. 29 is 21, he's loose. So it means that there's a lot of worse queens, queen, king he's calling me with, down with. He also has jack 9, stuff like this in his range, so I'm betting 3 and easily put him all in. I don't even have to bet 3, I can bet. Yeah, 3 is fine. Unfortunately folds. Okay, and that's all there is to this game. Obviously, I sucked out. Believe me, it doesn't happen a lot. I expected the guy's range to be like rather pocket jacks, queens, kings. When he does, look at, oh god damn it. I'm gonna check. Folds to 3 bets like 90%, 9 out of 10 times, which is a huge amount of times. So when he calls my 3 bet, either he has a like a bet, either he thinks that I'm really doing it light. Ace 5 suited. Gonna play for 4 more minutes, and I think it's been a nice video. I never showed my entire lifetime stats to. Well, it's not lifetime. Well, you got a decent sample size of somebody who thinks that he's a winning player. 3, 4, 5, really crappy flop. I do have top pair, top kicker. If I do get called, I'm gonna, hopefully I have no reads, I have no idea how to handle. He might just fold here, but a lot of the times I'm gonna get played back here, and I'm gonna have to fold top pair, top kicker. I don't think he's fully stacked. I don't think there's a lot of 6s in his range, though if I bet here there's a lot of aces. I'm just gonna make a small bet here, in the case that he is on a flush draw. ISO raising the guy on table. Well, he's really short. The guy on table number 2. Draw a flop. They're both shorts. I don't think I'm ever falling. I'm not jumping up and down my seat though. Not at all. If I get raised here, I actually still might be able to find a fold. The king doesn't really warm my heart. He dunks into me. Don't know why a flush would dunk into me. That's also not I'm just check folding if he shoves the river. Why don't I? Yeah, he's putting essentially all in. He's loose, but he's passive, and now he starts betting, so basically I have to fold here. Okay, a rookie guy hasn't raised a hand yet. He called me twice now. Flop comes ace high, standard c-bet. Doesn't need to be really big. 0.55 is enough to get a fold from all this air. 5, 6, 7. That's a kind of small 3 bet here with pocket, and he's fully stacked and he's bad. 50, 45, 24. I'm gonna call him and hopefully hit a set. We don't. I can barrel here, but I think he's gonna let me go to take a free card quite a bit. If he does, if he makes a huge bet, I'm done with the hand anyway. That's a small bet. It's on both tables, it's a small bet, but I was set mining. I'm just folding here. That's a really small bet, but I have no reads on that guy. I'm just folding. Why don't I double barrel versus this guy? I could double barrel, but he seems like calling stations even after 6 hand. He hasn't raised one, but he played like, yeah, I mean, I just don't have any reason to double barrel against an unknown. Let's keep it at this. He seems calling stations. He's talking in the chat. This doesn't seem like the smartest guy. So, where is he from? Slovenia. 8-10, not a good hand against a guy who is short and 8-10 offsuit. I'm not gonna ever hit top pair with that. And at least I'm not gonna ever hit top pair. Happy to stack off with. If it was Queen Jack, it's a completely different story. Okay, let's take a look here. Folds to 3 bets. It's a small race. I'm gonna 3 bet him. See. Oh, my 3 bet is a bit small here, because he only raised 40 cents as well. But he still makes the fold. Anyway, I think you got the point of this video, which basically is watch the Grinder School videos. Just doesn't mean because you have the same stats as somebody else that you're gonna be a winning player. Whether to double barrel here or not on table number 2. He's short. I don't want to get shoved on, that's for sure. And then 9. I'm gonna make a small bet. No, I'm just gonna check behind and hopefully, yeah, we do get there. I don't think he ever folds to a raise, so I'm just gonna put them all in. If he has a king, he's not folding. He's not the type of guy who is going to fold. So. Oh, he does. Okay, maybe I overdid it a bit. Oh, we get called on the button, which wasn't my intention. I wanted to play against a small blind with king 9 offsuit. 9 jack, standard c-bet, 0-70. Why am I c-betting? If I didn't hit a pair, I would not c-bet against 2 guys. And I might have the best hand. If I check, I'm giving them free outs and I'm making the hand really difficult to play, so it was a really standard c-bet there with second pair. Okay, I think the video has been running for quite a bit now. I'm just gonna sit out at all the tables. Hit top pair, top kicker on a wet flop on table number 3 against the guy who is decent. So let's be careful against this guy. We are not gonna go crazy. I don't like to get raised here. I'm going to bet. Well, actually, I'm gonna check because I'm thinking he's gonna check raise me with all his draws. So I'm gonna check and keep the pot kind of small. Maybe induce 1 or 2 things. I'm raising this guy though. He bets into me, no reason to raise, just call him. Jack comes off. Once he checks to me, I believe I have the best hand, and I'm gonna show him. Maybe he calls with a jack, maybe a 10 jack. I'm gonna make like a call that I'm stealing from it with a misdraw. Maybe he calls with a jack. Against these guys who know what they're doing, you gotta have. He's thinking about it, and if he thinks this long, I know I made the right move. Just call it. Call with 10 jack. By the way, if he raises, it's still an easy fold, although he doesn't represent a whole lot by raising. People never check raise rivers as a bluff. Not even this type of guy. So he'd go maybe pocket 10, so I think I played the hand as. Yeah, I mean, pretty much as good as I can. Okay, so with this, I'm gonna conclude this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the forum.